Qatar has returned fire at the Socceroos for calling out the World Cup host on its poor treatment of LGBTQ people and migrant workers. We saw the video last week, Caroline, and understandably they're not things that we condone in Australia. But is it the place of national teams to weigh in on the foreign policy of other sovereign nations?
I'm always a little bit funny about sports and politics. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like it when it happens, and particularly in a domestic sense. The thing that I will give the Socceroos a little bit of leeway here for, and not dissimilar to what went on in South Africa in the apartheid period, there is some really serious human rights abuses going on here. This is not just someone's father said something 40 years ago, and it's not that sort of thing. And Qatar has come out and said, oh, well, no country's perfect. I'm like, yes, but no country in the modern day will just kind of almost shrug its shoulders, I suppose, at 6,500 migrant workers dying building football stadiums. I mean, that is not acceptable anywhere in the modern world. That there is a very serious human rights issue, and I can understand how people are really uncomfortable with that. That there is quite different, in my view, to the virtue signalling and the fluff that we see about what is often protesting about issues which I'm not entirely sure they actually exist.
And let's not forget, Kosha, this is a country where stoning is still a condoned form of punishment. Homosexuality is punishable by death. I mean, to say no country is perfect, it is a bit of a cop-out.
For sure, but I think what this is it's a collision of various ideologies. There's the ideology of keep sports and entertainment away from politics. I think we all would prefer that, but I think that's from an era bygone, because now politics is seeping into everything, including sports. There's the ideology of diversity, and you could, I'm saying this a bit facetiously, but you could argue that, this is diversity, and these are Muslim countries where these things are in place, whether we like it or not, and that's what their culture stipulates. And, there's also the ideology of how far you want to protest. So they're protesting, but they are playing. So they're sort of protesting by agreeing to play there and not boycotting it as well. So that's kind of the other issue, where they're sort of shining a light on it, but then they are playing in these countries. And realistically, what is the Australian soccer team really going to be able to do against 1,000 years of that culture and what it propagates? So it's interesting to watch, but I don't think they're going to move the needle too much beyond the current news cycle in that, I'm sorry to say.